Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back finally to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. Huge apologies for this late, really late. We're getting the books that came out this past Wednesday tomorrow. This is a late review of DC and Marvel, and that's because we just had a crazy busy week. And I'm still trying to catch up on the recaps. I'm officially 2 recaps away from being complete for the month of May. Hopefully by the time this goes up, I will be only 1 away from finishing those off. And the podcast will probably be up on Friday because of all the uploading I'll be doing with the recaps and these reviews. So look forward to the podcast then. Other than that, I will make note of some news on the haul. There will be some news about the summer. Me and Mike are planning that. So if you're interested in hearing about some news for the summer maybe, stay tuned to tomorrow's weekly comic book haul. So Now let's get into the books. We're talking about the books that came out of DC Comics for the week of June 11th, 2014. And as always, we start with the digital first books. Smallville Lantern, issue number 3. Guys, if you have not been reading Smallville, this comic series is awesome. The series pushes a lot further than the TV show because obviously with the TV show they had limitations to how much special effects they could do. Here, it's a comic book, so they can do anything. So Clark is still stuck as a Green Lantern. However, they're now going up against Parallax. And Parallax now anoints his own Corps, the Yellow Lantern Corps. And it connects back to Batman. And John Stewart actually tells Superman to go back, and he actually goes up against Parallax alone. Lex Luthor's still looking for information on the Green Lanterns, of course. Anything Superman related, he's basically obsessed. Back in Gotham, Batman's fighting a bunch of his psychos who now are powered by Yellow Lantern rings. But of course Superman shows up, saves the day as always. However, something happens with John Stewart, and now that we are a little bit late with these reviews, I could say a little bit more. Superman basically just wills his ring off, and he basically just breaks free of the Lantern's control. However, John Stewart succumbs actually to the yellow entity, and he becomes the new Parallax. There is mention of Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan also being somewhere, but Parallax, we don't know where they are yet. This has been a really awesome series. I've been loving Smallville. Smallville is one of my recommended digital first books next to Adventures of Superman. Adventures of Superman being my #1 favorite, which I'm very pissed off it's being canceled, but hopefully it's being canceled to be renewed in another volume. Who knows? A lot of people like to cancel things after a couple of issues, so this way people don't get overwhelmed. So I'm hoping that's the case. Might not be. I'm praying it is. But anyway, all in all, this is an amazing series.
That should have been on TV still, but at least it's in a comic book.
Batman Detective Comics, issue number 32. Francis Manapul's artwork in this book is amazing. The story, however, there are parts in this book that, I don't know, you have Bullock who's still trying to chase leads that are going to lead him to Bruce Wayne. You have Batman, awesome artwork. Awesome artwork.
Yeah,
I'm going to interrupt myself there. But yeah, Batman trying to figure out who killed Elena, and he has a lead that takes him to the Gotham City Aquarium. Bullock is chasing after somebody who works in Wayne Tech, or what was his name? Jeb Lester. And he puts him under arrest. There's a giant squid, ironically enough, and then the rest goes to the end of the book. It was a very quick read, which was weird. It did read very quickly for me when I actually sat down and read it from cover to cover. And really not much progressed. Like, I would say that Batman took a very small step forward, and Bullock took another small step forward. But really nothing that's pushing too far forward in the story. More like a baby step. But the artwork is beautiful in this book. Francis Manapul's artwork is just amazing. The book in all, I would say, was an average read. If you like Francis Manapul's artwork, I would highly recommend the book. However, it feels like the story arc is going to be taking baby steps before it takes the giant leap into the finale. Green Lantern Corps issue number 32, part 4 of 6 of Uprising. which is obviously then going to lead into the war. Jon Stewart shows up on Daxam and tries to help the Daxamites. He wants to protect them before the Durlans show up. That's how the story begins. Then Daggle actually makes a little bit of a sacrifice, sort of. He knocks Salak out temporarily and sticks himself into this machine that extracts a piece of his DNA because Daggle is a Durlan. And now the Lantern Rings can identify Durlans. So it reaches out everywhere, and then it gets to Jon Stewart and his recruits. And it turns out, spoiler alert here, the Durlans were already on Daxam, and they've already stolen the DNA from the Daxamites. So basically, Daxam was already taken over, and it all is Sodom Yat's fault, unfortunately. And this is what leads Sodom Yat into saying when the Lanterns leave the planet, that's what leads him to stay behind. He says, it's better that we stay hidden away from everybody. It turns out Sodom Yat's father was killed. The Durlans had killed many of the Daxamites after assimilating their DNA. So Sodom Yat stays behind. The reason Jon Stewart and the other Lanterns leave is because the Durlans, now with Daxamite DNA, leave in the hundreds of spaceships that were on Daxam. So Jon Stewart chases after, and that's really where the book ends off. So the Uprising is definitely at its peak. I'm looking forward to how all this is going to end. But again, not that I'm not invested in the story, but it's okay. It's an average story, and that's not what Green Lantern was until Jeff Johns left the book. Another interesting story, Superman Wonder Woman issue 9, Enemy of the State chapter 2 for Superman Doomed. As of next week, Superman will be, you can check that out please, Superman will be on his own new story arc, and the Doom story arc is going to be taking place in all the other super books. Everything's okay?
Yeah.
So anyway, in this book, again, the story just remains interesting, not good, not bad, but interesting. I like the internal dialogue with Clark versus the Doomsday Virus. I, however, don't like that the Doomsday Virus has a voice now and is talking to him. It's weird. I love Tony S. Daniels' artwork. I really do love Tony S. Daniels' artwork. And because the atmosphere is now filled with kryptonite, Superman has no control over the Doomsday Virus within him anymore. It affects Superman, it doesn't affect Doomsday. So now Superman is basically Doomsdayed out. And Wonder Woman begs Hessa for help and to try to snap Clark out of it. Instead of snapping him out of it, though, she aims to kill him to save the world instead. And Wonder Woman basically takes Clark and yanks him off into the atmosphere instead, where he's able to gain control of himself again. And he says he has to leave Earth for a while until he can figure out how to get rid of the Doomsday Virus. Then this happened, and I feel this didn't need to be in the book. The Red Lanterns show up with Kara, because Kara is a Red Lantern.
Story arc?
No. And they want to take down Superman to try to save him, as Guy Gardner claims. I feel like it was honestly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages of filler. Like, they had nothing left, so they decided to just throw the Red Lanterns in, because I'm positive we're not going to see the Red Lanterns anymore after this, and you have Superman leaving Earth. Also, we find out here, this is a bit of a spoiler alert for the Superman Wonder Woman title itself. Hessa is the one that sent Cat Grant the picture of Superman and Wonder Woman making out. Why? Because she thought it would be good for Superman and Wonder Woman to go public, but then she tells Superman, but I was wrong, you're no good for my sister. And that's where I was like, wow. Wonder Woman's family sucks, and I'm gonna put this.
You just realized that?
I've been saying that. And I would like to put it out there right now. Not only was Superman hurt by the New 52, but I'm starting to see Wonder Woman was really hurt as well by the New 52. This book picked up a millionfold. Kat was right on the live show. Batgirl issue 32. It finally is up. This is taking place during Batman Eternal, though, because Barbara's father's in jail. You have a boyfriend who's suing him for shooting him without probable cause, he claims. And you have Nightfall still in Gotham that Batgirl is trying to fight against to kick out of Gotham. And then we get another twist to Barbara's story in this book. So, Batgirl's being Batgirl in the beginning of the issue, and she foils another one of Nightfall's things. I'm not going to say what. The artwork was a little weird, especially with this panel. It reminded me of the Tobey Maguire face.
Oh no.
It really did. But anyway, after that, we go back to Barbara, who gets, I'm going to skip the middle part. She kind of gets abducted, so to speak, by her a friend that she thought was dead. She was part of, turns out she's part of a secret agency who wants to take down Nightfall as well. So she kind of wants to, and you get a little bit of a background about this character. I forgot her name. Kind of slipped my mind at the moment. Anyway, Barbara gets recruited. She wants to recruit Barbara to work for this organization. Basically,
sorry about that.
All good?
Yeah, well, everything's good.
And basically, Barbara flat out says no. And this girl says, I could destroy you. You know, I know about your brother. Your father's in jail. Your boyfriend is the head of a gangbanger. And she's like, I don't care. You're dead. And that's it. I have too much. I'm too high a cost. And then she's like, we want you. We will have you. But she doesn't care, and she leaves. Then it turns out Nightfall all this time has been threatening Ricky to drop the suit against Jim Gordon because he's a good guy and she doesn't. And
right, yeah.
She has a twisted sense of justice. So anyway, Barbara wants to take down Nightfall once and for all.
Oh.
And the last page of this issue, I don't care how late it is. I'm not going to spoil, but somebody shows up at the end of this issue to help Barbara out.
Yeah, and Kat was happy about that also.
This was a very, very good issue. Gail Simone just pulled it back up again. This was awesome. I'm glad it finally broke away from all the tie-ins, and now we've got Batgirl back. No Mystic stuff, no nothing. Batgirl. This is an amazing book. I'm very happy that things are back to normal with Batgirl, and I look forward to the next issue.
And now we're in Justice League United, issue number 2, where the team is on a different planet, and we're going to find out what more happens in the book. It starts off where Heather and Mayabin are in the beginning, and something happens to Mayabin, and we don't really know what happens until this creature came in. And then we see Justice League United team on the Polaris Star System, and they actually run into trouble, as always. The artwork's really amazing. And they're trying to take them out. Stargirl, what's it called? She relies on Animal Man of what to do and stuff like that. And in comes in Supergirl.
Who looks weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happened? I mean, she's drawn weird, and last I saw, wasn't she a Red Lantern?
This is taking place after the whole Red Lantern arc.
Yeah, because I was like a little bit confused with that. But anyway, so they meet up with these people who actually helped them take care of the problem by putting them in a Sardath. And they put them like in a force field and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we get a Lobo and Bith scene where Hawkman comes in and does round 2 with Lobo. If you want to see more, read the book. So basically, John Jones was told that it's a Zeta beam that he was caught in, not a force field. It looks like a force field though. And they talk about the story about years ago of basically a war or something like that. And then there were like a meeting and stuff like that where they were talking about a certain symbol of unity. And it's just like a long dialogue, right?
I love how they're in space.
Yeah.
I'm not really invested in space. I'm glad you're reading this.
Right. So, basically, Supergirl's like saying, so basically they kidnap beings from across the universe for their insane science experiment, which is kind of a little bit weird to read about, and there's really lots more. So as Lobo and Hawkman are fighting each other, looks a little bit intense, but the Justice League United team make it to where their lair was, and oh boy, I think they're too late for what they had to do and stuff, and you could actually find that out in this comic book. So it's building up really nicely, and I'm really enjoying it, but well, I just gotta say, Supergirl was drawn a little bit weird. That's all I gotta say for that.
Neither event book really was huge for me this week. However, one was better than the other. Batman Eternal issue 10, Catwoman is now the prisoner of Carmine Falcone, who then is taken hostage by the guy on this cover, Professor Pig. Which I'm glad, because by the end of this issue we won't be seeing Professor Pig anymore. So Professor Pig now has Carmine Falcone and Catwoman held hostage. Alfred's daughter is staying at Wayne Manor until she can get better. She doesn't want to stay, but she's being forced to stay. The artwork in this book, I was saying this artwork was great up until I saw Jason Todd, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute. Spoiler is still out there. Her father knows she's still alive because her name didn't show up in the obituaries. I want to find Jason Todd because that was the weirdest Jason Todd picture. Here we go. That's Jason Todd, believe it or not.
Wow.
And basically Batman's having Jason Todd follow her around in South America to keep her from getting herself killed. He does. Goodbye. We see Jason Todd all of about one page. And then Batman shows up to save Catwoman and ironically stop Professor Pig, but he's really not there to save Carmine Falcone, but he ends up saving Carmine Falcone also. Forbes finds out that Batman's there. He tells Lieutenant Bard to send the police in immediately. He kind of does like a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi to give Batman a little bit of time. And the police break in and Batman's already gone, and you know Carmine Falcone's not happy about that. All in all, we do get one thing in the end that kind of progresses the story a minor bit, and that's that Carmine Falcone is an enemy, but he's not the enemy. And I had a feeling it wasn't going to be Carmine Falcone because he wasn't in that future splash page where, remember when Batman Eternal started, it was like already 52 weeks later or 40 something weeks later, and I think that whoever it is, Carmine Falcone is just taking advantage of the moment. But I think by the time we get to the middle of Batman Eternal, Carmine Falcone is going to be out of the picture. I have a feeling this is all going around Commissioner Forbes, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll get Commissioner Gordon out of jail at some point, and we all know something's going to happen to Alfred really soon. So that's going to be crazy, and that might play into his daughter being there also. We don't know. Finally, this week, New 52, Future's End, issue number 6. This book, I feel, moved forward a bit more than Batman Eternal, which is kind of like taking baby steps, whereas this is taking steps. Mr. Terrific finds out about Batman Beyond, and he kind of figures out that he's the hobo outside of the building that's surrounding the area. However, he doesn't realize that there are 3 people, 3 crooks that are planning to break into his facility also. That's the weird thing. That was the weird plot hole in this entire book. You get a nice thing with Shade where they go into the Phantom Zone. They're trying to figure out who killed Stormwatch. They break into the... They don't break in. They go into the Phantom Zone. They get attacked by Phantoms. And then they come face to face with Black Adam. And that's leading obviously into the next issue. Because then the rest of the issue is Lois Lane confronting Cal... what's his last name? Whatever his last name is, who's really Tim Drake in disguise. And she confronts him about being Red Robin. He kind of throws her out of his place and says never to come back again. And he has to dance circles around his girlfriend, basically, so she doesn't figure out who he really is. Then we find out that Faraday wants to tell Lois Lane and confront her, but he gets interrupted by Superman.
Yeah, and you say that might be
Eradicator. It might be. That's my prediction. And he basically tells him to stay away from Lois Lane, period. And Faraday says, fine, she'll find her way to me soon enough, and he walks away. So a lot's going on, and the progression of the story was nice. However, again, the Batman Beyond part, I kind of find it weird that, you know, again, Mr. Terrific figured out like that Batman Beyond is the hobo outside in the park. However, he failed to see like 5 feet away from him those 3 people who were talking, and even Terry, using his technology, heard what they were talking about. I'm surprised that Mr. Terrific didn't figure that, his people didn't figure that much out. But again, the next issue looks very interesting. Future's End is an interesting story, but it's moving forward a lot faster than Batman Eternal. No Firestorm this time, so no whining. I don't know if we'll ever see Firestorm again. This is all heading into what's going to be happening in September with 5 years later, so that's going to be interesting to see. So, all in all, Future's End was a good book. Nothing really spectacular that came out of DC this week, minus Batgirl, I would say, and Smallville. Nothing really jumping out at me like 4 and 5 stars worth. Mostly average reads, I would say, at best. I don't know how you feel about Justice League United.
Justice League United picked up, like I said, a little bit.
But really, this was an average week for DC at best. Batgirl was really spectacular. That's really all I can say for DC. So hopefully things will pick up next week. I know the last week of this month there's going to be a lot of books from both DC and Marvel that we will be in. So anyway, that's it for this review, guys. Don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Marvel's coming up next, guys. So until then, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys in the next review.
Later, everyone.